specifically target them. It's just hurting them more than, again, I mean, it hurts. It hurts the leadership of Teslas, but I don't think it's necessarily great to see vehicles being blown up, entire vandalism being completely okay with, right? When you start to see the term Molotov cocktail and the production of them being shared around so easily on social media, it kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, there really isn't any form of civility in all of this. It's just gotten to that extreme point that we kind of used to think that wasn't going to happen, right? But this is where we're at now as a group of people. I love this shit too when people like key a Tesla in real life too. Like this guy's coming out with his keys, swiping it across a car that is constantly recording your face the entire time. Like it's kind of insane. The amount of damage that people are doing to this without even thinking and possibly putting themselves into legal issues is actually insane, okay? One of the wild, goofy takes that I heard was this guy, Tom, who actually runs a publication, straight up right, like, the first half, I got it, right? It's an unpopular opinion. Destroying random people's car isn't the way to go. It's true, right? Not everyone can just sell their car, and some people have probably bought this before Elon had this massive shift, right? Like, why even go after somebody who bought a vehicle, their own accord, right? Like, it is what it is. They bought this car long before any of it. And then they started going and talking about dealerships, right? Okay, obviously new cars that somebody just bought like a week ago. All of that apparently is fair game. Molotovs are cheap to make. I mean, you read stuff like this and you think, God damn, the world is kind of a little bit fucking unhinged in this regard. And it's not just this you have to worry about. Obviously, playing around with fire like this is not only dangerous, but from a legal perspective, the government's really going after a lot of these people with some pretty heavy charges. So yeah, we're actually promoting people using Molotov cocktails to set fire to lithium batteries in cars. I mean, what the fuck? Even where I live, this is like 20 minutes from where I live in Hamilton. There's a place called Lime Ridge Mall where I guess one big Tesla dealership is at. 80 Tesla vehicles were damaged at a dealership overnight. That's a pretty massive amount of damage. So it's gotten to a point where if you own a Tesla where I live, people are like, yeah, just put it in the fucking garage, okay? Just hide it away, all right? You don't want to be driving the swastika car anywhere. At the end of it, it is actually working against Tesla. People are selling off the stock. People are actually concerned about purchasing Tesla because of the bad brand image associated. I mean, let's say you bought a car for, whatever amount of money. Why would you buy a car from a brand that people have now dubbed the swastika car and are actually openly vandalizing at this point without even thinking of the ramifications? When you could easily buy another car brand that exists and basically gives you nearly the same thing, even if you're looking at EVs. So yeah, it's one of those things where future sales of a Tesla can very severely be accepted, and because of Elon's just antics, there are a lot of people that could have been potential buyers in the future that probably may never choose to buy a Tesla vehicle again, right? They just will probably buy a different car out of pure principle. Even looking at like the US government when it came to like dealing with the actual damages against Tesla, one of the actual AGs, Pamela Bondi, actually straight up said they announced charges against 3 individuals responsible for the violent destruction of Tesla properties. All 3 defendants will face the full force of the law for using Molotov cocktails to set fire to Tesla cars and charging stations. The days of committing crimes without consequences have ended. Let this be a warning: if you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. Now, according to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of terrorism is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims, which kind of fits the definition for what's going on over here. But regardless of where the tomato lies in this, ultimately the brand is so poisoned that people probably will never want to buy a car from this brand again, especially just considering what the antics of the CEO has put and ultimately damaged, again, a pretty, in my opinion, interesting car brand as well. Now, I don't think the blame for Tesla's slump is all just related to these protests as well, too. I really think, like, Tesla has always been this overinflated stock. I mean, that's just kind of how, like, stocks are, especially when a automobile stock like Tesla is valued like a tech stock. Now, the thing is, I think they genuinely do make some pretty cool cars. Like, I like the EV stuff that they do. I think the full self-driving, while it's definitely not what was advertised, I would say, it's still impressive technology to me that a car can at least navigate itself on main roads. highways and go from end to end. I think that's all cool tech. I think it's actually one of the things that Tesla was